Welcome, film fans and viewers. My name is J.R. Andrus with Golden Works Entertainment, and this is the Film Spotlight Podcast, where we talk about movies with people who make them and act in them. It's my pleasure to introduce our first guest for the podcast, Warren Workman. I'm really excited to have Warren on the podcast because I've known Warren for, I don't even know how long now, 15
long
years?
time, yeah, 15 years I think we're around.
Since dinosaurs roamed the earth, it feels like.
And they were small dinosaurs then, too. They were very small.
True. That's true. Very true. But Warren is a local producer here in Utah who's produced multiple feature films, short films, vertical dramas, commercials, and who knows what else.
Well, and Netflix movies now, apparently.
Netflix movies, that's right.
That's right.
That's right. You now have a movie on Netflix.
2 movies on Netflix, thank you very much. At the same time.
Now, that is an achievement I have not accomplished yet. I am a little bit jealous. But in addition to being a wonderful producer, Warren, along with his family, also produces the Utah International Film Festival every year in January. And this is a big year for that. 15 years, I believe?
15 years, yeah. We started in the back of the Bombay House, a nice little Indian restaurant in Provo. And now we're going to be at the huge Mid-Valley Performing Arts Center in Taylorsville. And we've got quite the lineup about to be announced. It's going to be awesome. It's the best way to spend 15 years.
You know, I'm excited. I did not know the days of the Bombay House, but I have been attending the festival for over a decade now and have been part of the pitch tank for a couple of years now. And we're doing that again this year, I understand.
Absolutely. It's a huge hit.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. And it looks like I'll also be doing a couple of panels for you on various film-related skills, which is exciting for me. But 15 years, it's a big accomplishment. What can you tell us that we need to know about the festival this year?
Get your passes early. That's the best advice I can give anybody who's looking at going. So film festivals have changed over the years, right? Back in the day when everything was on 35 millimeter, you know, it was really hard to get out to see these indie films because they just wouldn't make it to the theaters ever. Now everything's so easy to make of movies that they're on YouTube. But the connection and learning how to make movies and the best practices in that and how to build your teams to do that, that now is what film festivals are really great at doing, is bringing those people together so that everybody who's like-minded is like in the same place and starting to collaborate in projects. That's what's happening at the film festival this year. We have a lot of people who are doing world firsts. We have world premieres. As you mentioned, the education side of this thing is huge. Lots of parties and lots of food and probably the best award show in the state. So, yeah.
Well, sign me up. Parties and food. That sounds wonderful.
You're going to gain 15 pounds just for our 15th anniversary. It's going to be a great way to go.
Worth it. Worth it. Totally worth it. I guess the biggest question that really is applicable for this podcast is, for someone who is not a filmmaker or somebody who isn't out there either as a professional or a hobbyist making movies, what appeal does the festival have? Because I feel like a lot of those people miss out on these festivals, and they really are missing out. Like, I feel like there is a lot to be gained by attending a local film festival, especially. So tell us, what are your thoughts?
You know, I like to watch movies on Amazon, on Disney Plus, and on Netflix. But one of the things I'll never get to do while I'm watching that movie is then go talk to the filmmakers after I watch the movie. You get to do that at a film festival. Those filmmakers show up. The actors are there. The directors are there. The producers are there. Sometimes the crew members are there. You get an idea of how the movie's being made. You can ask them questions right after you've seen it. You get to be the first person to see it a lot of the time. And it's just it's more of immersive environment instead of it's just being a passive experience to go watch a movie. And you get to understand more about why they're making these movies, how they're making these movies. And if you have this bee in your bonnet that, man, I'd like to be in movies one day, this is where you start.
I can't agree more. I think for me, I wrote a short essay on LinkedIn recently about indie film and things. And the essence of the essay is, where is indie film headed? And this, for me, is what is applicable to non-filmmakers at film festivals. Is film is about communication. It's about storytelling. It's about connecting with other people. That's how we connect with other people in general, is storytelling. And film is a way to reach a broad audience with that. And so I feel like this is an opportunity not only to see some movies that you probably wouldn't have otherwise and hear some stories and voices that you wouldn't have otherwise, but as you say, a chance to get to meet those filmmakers and ask them more immersive questions and deeper questions about their story and what they're trying to convey. And you really can't get that anywhere else. Even on a larger scale, I remember I had the opportunity to attend the Toronto Film Festival. It had to be over a decade ago now. And one of the films that was there was a documentary called Tim's Vermeer, which was produced by Penn and Teller. And it was this chance where, I mean, if you know anything about Penn and Teller and you go to see one of their performances, Teller never speaks. It's only Penn that says anything. It's part of their shtick. But Teller was the director of this film, so he actually spoke. We got to hear from him.
Oh, you hear his voice for the first time. I love it.
Right. But it was an experience that you're just not going to have anywhere else, to actually ask questions and hear what they had to say about their movie. And on a local level, I feel like that's very exciting because these filmmakers are your neighbors a lot of the time. I mean, obviously, you guys, it's an international film festival. You get people from all over the world. But, I mean, how many submissions this year were from Utah?
In Utah alone, we had 136.
Right. And, I mean, obviously, you didn't accept all of those, but I imagine you accepted quite a few.
We accepted several from Utah, quite a few. And as you mentioned, we are international. And because we go through a very vigorous vetting process for all of our films, we really have certain things that we're looking for. You know, it's a film festival. So if those who haven't attended a film festival, I think it's really important to understand what it is and what it isn't. It's not going to your local megaplex and seeing something you've seen trailers for and a celebrity that you follow all the time. And you've been following all the Rotten Tomato scores and everything like that. You know exactly what you're in for. You've seen the MPAA rating. You know that it's rated PG-13 and there might be some strong language. None of that's there with a film festival. You just kind of enter at your own risk. It's like a gift basket that's completely hidden before you show up. The most you might get is a synopsis and a poster, and that's it, if you're lucky. And so...
Absolutely. I know I've seen movies, even at your film festival that I worked on, that I had no idea what I was in for. I'm like, I was there for the filming, and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be any good.
Exactly. And you don't know. And a lot of the movies that we are getting, as I mentioned, they're world premieres, which means they haven't screened anywhere. And a lot of times they just barely finished making the movie. I mean, like a couple days beforehand, they just finished putting on the last bit of visual effects onto their film, or they just added the credits into their film. It really is hot off the presses, and nobody's had a chance to see this. The cast and crew often hasn't seen this yet. And that's something that's really kind of fun about that experience, is you get to be a first. You are that first audience to see the film a lot of times.
Yeah, and let's be clear. You say you're looking for a very specific film. You guys are largely family friendly, right?
Yes, largely we are. There's some things we just will not touch, worth nothing. If it's going to be a divisive film, so it's going to be out there saying it's like you just fill in the name of the religious organization, we're not going to plan it. Doesn't matter what my personal beliefs are, but it's divisive, and we don't want to create something that's going to split our audience. That's just not us. There's other film festivals that love that.
Sure.
That's not us, right? Anything that is pornographic in nature, we aren't going to play that either. You want that, you're going to have to go to Nevada. You know, we just have certain kind of standards that we're looking for. But we will play scary movies. We have a huge, very popular horror block. We actually do a couple of those. We have some raunchy comedies that we put in there. We have the swears. We have blocks with lots and lots of swears, but we also have blocks that are great for G-rated content. So you could bring in the grandma and your great grandson, and everybody is going to just have a good time watching the show. And then they get to talk to the filmmakers afterwards, go get their picture taken on the red carpet or in our photo booths, and just have a good time. Now, that's why our website exists. So you could go on there and you could take a look at the movies in advance, and there is the content warnings on there. So we do watch everything. Yes, we watch everything. And we put them into blocks where we say, hey, if you come on Saturday morning at 10 a.m., this is going to be kid-friendly. Everything that's going to be in that block is going to be kid-friendly. And here's the shows that we have there. And we've got Lots of really cool people already set up for that block. Here's a really fun comedy block. Also, family friendly. It's going to be PG and lower, PG and G. That's it. I mean, there's not even a single cuss word in there. It's only got PG because it might be scary for really young children, but that's about it. So yeah, we've got something for all ranges, for the young in heart and the young in their sensitivities. And then the people who are a little bit more, I can swear like a sailor and I don't get offended by it. We got something for everybody in there.
I love that.
And so we are trying to cater to large audiences, but we also block them into appropriate areas. A lot of people aren't bringing little Timmy to come see a slasher movie at about 9:00 at night. So
true. Timing is everything, right?
I hope so. Hopefully nothing sneaks in. We had a lot of people screening these. You never know.
Right. Well, talking about films, we have a great filmmaker here. Let's talk about some of the movies that you've worked on.
Sure. One of the films, because I'm bragging about it right now, as I got 2 movies on Netflix right now. One's called Mistletoe Mix-Up, and the sequel is Merry Christmas, Marry. And they got married. Anyway, so Mistletoe Mix-Up stars the Lawrence brothers, Joey Lawrence, Matt Lawrence, and then Andy Lawrence was a director. He's also acts in it. It's just a comedy of errors type thing.
Love that.
The boys meet this one girl. They both fall head over heels in love with her on first sight. And, that's obviously not going to work. She can't be dating the brothers here. And eventually Joey ends up meeting somebody else who he actually ended up marrying in real life, which is kind of cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's Sam right there. And they live happily ever after in the movie. Well, we come back to the sequel, and unfortunately, the girl in the first one, that relationship didn't work out with Matt. Shucks. But then we have our new girl that shows up, and they are hot and heavy in love, and they decide right on the top of the mountain after going on a ski trip that Matt's going to propose to her. And so they're all excited. Both Joey has good news and Matt's got good news at the same time. They show up and they share the same news at the same time. It's like, we're getting married. Oh, they're both getting married at the same time. They're both getting married. That's great. When are you getting married? Christmas Eve. Wait a minute. I'm getting married on Christmas Eve. Well, where are you getting married? We're getting married at this place. No, I'm getting married at this place. So now we have that comedy of errors happening all over again from the first one, and hilarity ensues. And it's a lot of fun. And the brothers were a blast to work with. They were always riffing off of each other, coming up with things that made it funnier every single day. And it was a lot of fun to work on with them. We had such great success with the first one. It was time to make the second one. And we did that about 2 years after. A little less than 2 years after. And this had gone out to Amazon last year, and it was a top performer during the Christmas season. And now Netflix picked up both of them. And so we're super excited. Well, thank you. That's awesome. That's a first for me. So, yeah, that's some of the features that I've got under my belt. But before I started doing producing and being the guy who has to hire everybody and make sure everything works, I had a lot of foundation in location management and transportation. I started off as a production assistant intern. I started working with a group called Hailstorm Entertainment. For those,
I remember Hailstorm.
Yeah, for those guys who remember the singles ward or the RN, that's the kind of, or RN's a nurse. Yes. One of the first films I got to work on was a movie called Mobsters and Mormons. And so it was the first time. One. Yeah, it's the first time I met John Lyde, who's a great local filmmaker here, and it kind of snowballed into this ragtag. I'm going to learn everything to get on set, and one day I became the producer, and I was making those movies myself. I was the guy. I was the top dog on all the things, and now
exciting.
I do everything in between. I'll produce, but I'll come on. I like to do crafty sometimes. I like to just set out the food. The problem is I eat a lot of it.
That's always been my problem. If I end up with too much time on my hands on set, I graze.
Yeah, and we had a talk with some of the students over at Salt Lake Community College about film and how it keeps on evolving. Sometimes financially it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially with like vertical dramas right now being just so inexpensive to make, which means they're going to be very inexpensive to pay their crews. So people were asking, well, why do you do it if it doesn't pay well? The answer is easy. It's fun. We just have so much fun on set. And if you're lucky to work with a team of people that you like, you're going to work with them a lot, hopefully, right? You're going to get all the sets you'll be on. You'll keep bringing them back together, and it's you're there with your friends and you spend a couple weeks together making this thing that will hopefully outlive you. Kind of neat.
And not all of them end up being low paid.
No, some of them are paid really well. And like I had one show during the height of COVID for iFit that actually paid for my entire year off of one job. Yeah. And I got to travel to Tanzania to do it. It was a lot of fun.
Even better. That's exciting.
Got to take my wife, go hang out with the nomadic tribes, get chased by an elephant. It was a lot of fun. Woo! It was a lot of fun. Then we chased a lion. I mean, it was a blast.
All right. Well, obviously you have a lot of experience, and I guess we should talk just briefly about the vertical drama that we produced recently, The Billionaire's Secret Heir.
The Billionaire's Secret Heir. Yeah, that was an interesting project. So Real Short had a competition, and the competition's goal was to try and find the emerging filmmakers to start partnering up with. And so we teamed up. And we went off and we got this really cool location, and I wrote up a script that was 10 episodes, but don't let that fool you that each episode's about a minute long. So they're very short. They're very short. So it's about a 10-minute short film, and we got it all shot in one day, which was great. And we brought in a vertical star, Maya Green. She's just a doll. I love that gal. She's been working with us at the festival for so many years. And she brought her A game. She did a great job.
Oh, she did wonderful. I have to say it was kind of interesting. You've known Maya for a long time, but I actually had never met Maya before we shot The Billionaire's Secret Heir. And what a delight is she. I mean, just total professional, but also just so sweet on set. Very nice. In this particular film, she had to... I believe it was a character played by your nephew, a little boy that was, how old is he? Like 12?
Oh, younger, I'm sure. I think he's closer to like 10 or something like that. But he's tiny. He's a tiny little guy.
Tiny little kid. So, of course, he's new to acting. It's his first job. And it was just so much fun to see Maya leading him around and showing him the ropes and really getting into that whole thing. I think that's probably half the reason why he had so much fun on set.
Absolutely. And she just has this tremendous warmth and energy that people who are paying attention, they want to work with people like that. And we see that happen all the time in film sets. If you come in and be a fun person to be around, professional always, and just easy to work with, you're going to work a lot. And she's proved that time and time again. I swear, every other week I see that she has a new movie out because she's been working in the vertical drama space. She gets cast in everything. And she should, because she is that dang good.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just that wonderful to work with. And which leads us into the question. You've done all of these movies, you've done these shorts, you've done the vertical dramas. Who are some of your favorite people to work with? Maya, obviously.
Maya's absolutely great. Charla Bokikio. She is definitely one of my very favorite actors to work with, hands down. Charla's great because she is like the sweetest person ever, right? But she, on most of her on-camera roles that I've ever had her in, she's always been the villain. So, I don't know what it is, but sometimes the sweetest people make the best bad guys. And she has
range for sure.
She's so juicy in her delivery. I'm just like, absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I love Charla. I actually have to tell the story of how I first met Charla. One of the very first film that I sound mixed was a movie called Alien Country, which is an absolute delight. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's a fun little sci-fi film, sci-fi comedy, really. And in this, as you say, Charla plays the bad guy a lot, and she's kind of a bad guy in this one. And I have not had any interaction with her, really, other than, well, I don't even think I put the microphone on her. I think my boom operator did. So the extent of my interaction with this woman is that I have listened to her through her microphone. And we are out in Goblin Valley. We're 2/3 of the way through the shoot. It's late at night, like 2 a.m, completely dark, and she just comes up and starts talking to me. One thing you have to understand about sound mixers is, especially late at night, we don't want to do anything, so we just put our headphones on, and we can't hear anything unless it's coming through a microphone. People will walk right up to me, talk to me, and 5 minutes later, I'll look over and be like, oh, you're there? And so she comes up and starts talking to me, and we have a conversation, and me and my infinite wisdom doesn't even dawn on me that I can hear the woman. And about 2 minutes in, I'm like, wait a minute, I can hear you. And she just kind of looks at me and she's like, well, I am wearing a microphone. I figured you might. And right there, I knew we were going to be friends.
Yeah, no, she's absolutely wonderful. She's absolutely wonderful. As far as guys go, man, there's so many great male actors I've worked with over the years. I mean, one of the guys that I really just enjoy a lot is Jake Stormone. Jake was in one of my first movies. Absolutely love Jake for sure. He's so easy to work with. He's just so authentic in all of his performances. Just getting those kind of performances are so hard. And he never dials. He never like calls it in, right? He's got the right character in mind every time he shows up to set. And then when he's done, he could be like, all right, now let me tell you all about D&D and how much I enjoy playing D&D. He's just so he's a nice dude, and he's always professional. And again, that's just the moral of the story, right? It's be nice, be friendly, but be professional and be ready to do your job. And then everyone will want to keep booking you.
He's such an uplifting presence on set, too.
Yeah.
He really helps keep morale up. The first film that I worked on with him was a movie called Bookworm and the Beast, my second film ever. Didn't really know what I was doing. We beat people up on that one. We had long hours and tight turnarounds and did everything wrong. Learned a lot from that production. And not only was Jake so positive the whole time, but he really helped keep morale up when he had a valid right to complain to us. And never did. He just came in and did his job, and he still speaks positively of the whole experience. And I sometimes question if he was truly there. I'm like, really? That was a good experience for you? But he really does just have that personality that I would have Jake back for any film, anytime. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. He's absolutely great. He makes for a great leading man. And now with him in this new movie called Seeking Persephone, that even though it's a 3-hour long movie, it's going to be one of those things that people are going to be like, look, we saw him in that series that was on the WB, but this Seeking Persephone is going to make him the modern day Mr. Darcy.
My mother is already completely excited for that film. I think the only complaint she has is that it's only 3 hours long.
It's like 3 hours. My bladder's going to have to take a break twice in that movie.
I mean, she'll need some breaks, but she'd probably be happy if it were 10 hours long. Give her a series. She'd love that. Maybe they'll do that.
Maybe they need a little intermission so everyone could have quick body break. I don't know. And that tells me how old I'm starting to get when I need to have those quick body breaks in between.
You and me both.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, great actor. Absolutely. I'm very excited to see what he does with Seeking Persephone. Coming back to your work and what you've done, what are you most excited about that you're going to be working on this next year, or maybe something from the festival, something that we should all have on our radar that we don't?
I think this year, everything is in this really interesting space of flux and trying to figure out where the audiences are migrating to and what they're looking at getting. But one of the things that I'm having so much fun with right now is the film festival. I'm having so much fun doing the social media on that one, where we reach about 400,000 people every single month on there.
Wow.
Even with a very small following, by the way. I think we only have 4,000 followers. We get 400,000 views every single month right now. Just discovering that new talent that's out there and just growing our festival into hopefully a Oscar qualifying festival here in the next year.
That would be exciting.
That's really the goal right now, is we want to make sure that we keep our standards really high. We just keep on delivering an exceptional festival experience, and hopefully keep the storytellers coming, keep the dreamers dreaming, and make everybody excited to keep, as you said, telling those stories, because we are a storytelling people. And once we stop doing that, then we start losing what makes us special. And film festivals,
well said,
are a great way to do that.
Well said. No, I'm very excited for the festival this year as well. I think probably my most anticipated thing, which is a shameless self-plug, is a movie called The Dead of Night that should be coming out next year.
Yes.
Which I know you're helping us out with the PR on that. At least I would hope that I know, since I hired you for it.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. So one of the things that I love that you're letting me do on Dead of Night is the fact that we're kind of moving away from the old school traditional distribution and ways that people have done it in the past, but we're paying attention to where the audiences are now and making this story more connecting with the audiences. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So I can't wait for the Dead of Night to come out too, because it's going to be a whole lot of fun sharing this with audiences.
I can't wait till we can announce and say more about what's going on, especially with the PR end of things. I know there's going to be some really fun events that we're going to have going on, and some really fun opportunities, I hope. But that's probably my most anticipated project. Again, shameless self-plug, but one of our first horror films, so it's going to be exciting. And just to wrap this up, Warren, tell us something unique about yourself that most people probably don't know.
Well, anybody who's ever met me will know the one thing, that I have a little bit of an obsession with bacon. But that is my biggest thing, is I have an obsession with bacon. But I think things that a lot of people don't know who do still know me, I was once a contestant on a dancing reality show.
Okay, we have to hear more about that.
It was a show on the Oxygen Network. It was created by the makers of The Biggest Loser and Dancing with the Stars. It was called Dance Your Ass Off. And I was there in the very first season. And at the time, I was working as a nurse at the state hospital. And on my break, I had a buddy of mine bring out his video camera and film me being a just total goofball on the property. And that's all we sent. There was nothing else. And 2 days later, I get a call from these guys out in Hollywood, says, can you come out here? We'll fly you out to meet with our doctors and meet with the judges and see if this would be a good fit. Well, all right. And so they flew me out. They didn't pay me for it, but I got a free trip out of it. That was kind of fun.
Sure. Nice.
And the week after that, they offered me a spot on the show. I was like, okay, I think that's really stupid, but I'll come and do it. I'll prove you guys how dumb this is. And I wasn't the first one eliminated. So there you go.
Hey, that's an accomplishment right there.
I had some pretty sweet dance moves that I didn't know that I can do. Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was before my son was conceived, and he's turning 16 now. So
wow.
it was 17 years ago. Yeah. But yeah, it's called Dance Your Ass Off. You can find it on YouTube if you say Dance Your Ass Off Warren, and you can see one really good dance and one that wasn't so good.
Fun. Well, I guess I ought to say something. I think probably something most people don't know about me is that I actually have been all the way around the world twice.
Wow.
Literally all the way around the world. I didn't do it all at once, but I once went to a film festival in Jakarta, Indonesia, and I used miles to fly out there. And for whatever reason, just the way the reward system was working back then, they flew me the wrong way around the world.
Oh.
So I flew from Salt Lake to Philadelphia, Philadelphia to Europe, and then Europe to Singapore.
That seems like a really long way to go.
It was. And then I came back the same way. And then a few years later, I flew to Singapore from Salt Lake the correct way.
Oh.
So I have literally been all the way around the world twice.
That's very cool. That is very cool. I have not made that accomplishment yet.
I don't know that everybody should have that on their bucket list. I recommend Europe. I recommend Singapore. I don't necessarily recommend going all the way around the world. It was a long day of travel either direction. I mean, it consisted of 7, 8 flights, something like that, but 4 of them were 10 hours long with, only a couple hour layover in between. So it was a bit rough. Luckily, quite a few of those were not full, so there was some extra room. One of them I had the entire row and I was able to just lay down and take a nap.
That's so nice.
Yeah, but it was definitely a long day of travel. However, it got me out to the film festival and we got to receive an award. We had an honorable mention, which that festival actually made the announcements before the festival. So,
interesting.
Yeah, it was a bit odd, but it made it so I knew that we were getting an award and made an extra effort to be there. So it worked out. But
very cool.
But yeah. All right. Well, thank you for coming on to the podcast, Warren, and we're very excited about this year's film festival. 15 years. That's so exciting. A lot of work. And I mean, really, we should be thanking Dora. I know she really does most of the heavy lifting. And
Dora and Harley this year have done a tremendous job putting all the logistics through here. 1,500 projects have come through the doors this year alone. And that doesn't count all the other elements that has to happen between coordinating the venue, coordinating all the permitting, the insurance, the panels, the caterers. I mean, it just goes on and on. The performances.
It's a big thing for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot.
For sure. But send our thanks to them as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we are very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Thanks again, and we'll see you at the festival.
See you guys at the festival.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Spotlight. If you liked what you heard, please go to goldenworksentertainment.com/podcast and sign up for our newsletter, where we announce new episodes and keep you up to date on current projects with Goldenworks Entertainment. Again, that website is goldenworksentertainment.com/podcast. Here you can also find links to all of the wonderful movies that we talked about in this episode.